Welcome to Business in View. I am Denise Nichols, and with me today is Elvis Reynoso. He is the commercial director of GBIZ Solutions. He's actually in the lovely island of Curacao, and I'm in the equally lovely island of Barbados. And today we're going to have some fun. We're going to enjoy this program. I am so excited because Elvin is me Emmanuel. He is my brother. I see him as a brother, and not because of the fact that he is so handsome, but because of the fact that he's so kind, he's so caring, he's so generous. And that I love about him. So Elvis, we're so glad that you're on Business in View. Business in View was established on the premise that we would offer good advice to those people who are in business, want to get in business, because we have been in business, have been in business for 26 years. And so we wanted to share insight, especially now with what's happening in society with all of since the COVID scenario, what it is that we have to do to differentiate ourselves, what it is we have to do to adapt. And so Business in View was formed just for you. And before we get all into Business in View and what we're going to do, we want to share some fun facts because we like to have fun here on this show. And so I want Elvis to share a fun fact about himself. But before I put him on the spot, I'm going to do it so he feels comfortable. You know, as a travel person, a travel agent, a travel entrepreneur, before you will go on what we call familiarization trips, fam trips. So I went on this fam trip for the first time going to a big city. It was in Toronto. I felt really excited. And so we went to dinner at one of those revolving restaurants called the Skylon Tower. And so we had to get up and go to the buffet table to get our dinner. And so I picked up what I thought at the time was some kind of fruit, and I grabbed them. I saw it looking a little greenish and a little purplish. So I said, okay, great. I'm going to have a big set of these now. And so my roommate turned to me and said, Denise, I didn't know you like olives. I said, I didn't know either. I thought they were grapes. So it was like going to a big country, not having been exposed to these things before. I'm making a fool of myself, but that's okay. It's fun. Elvis, what can you share? Fun fact.
I would like discussing Barbados. I think I would give a little fun fact about Barbados. I remember within the first 3 months, I'm somebody that I've never lived in a location for over 3 years straight. Curacao is the first time that I lived anywhere I've been living here for 9 years, but never 3 years straight. So I was able to adapt quickly to new destinations, new places, new roles. And I remember my first 3 months going to Barbados, first 5 months, within the 6 months period. I remember going to one of the biggest reggae festivals there, Reggae on the Hill. And the first time me going to this festival, within the first, again, 6 months of me going to Barbados, I was backstage, I was with the artists, I was actually doing all this, and I was promoting the event. And in addition to that, the same weekend, I was visiting Mr. Sir Gary Sobers. He's one of the only national living heroes of Barbados. And after I did this long weekend in Barbados, where I had so much fun, everybody was telling me, you said you only been coming here 5, 6 months, and you already been on top of the stage or Reggae on the Hill, and you visited Sir Gary at his home. And again, these people are wonderful. So I'm really happy with you guys, with the Barbados community. And I'm glad I also feel at home when I'm in Barbados. So that was one of my fun facts.
You're honorary Barbadian, by the way.
Thank you. Beijing,
Okay.
Beijing.
Oh, well, excuse me, pardon me for living. Hey, he knows exactly how we're called Bajans. So Elvis, our audience are curious and they want to know a little bit of your journey. How did you get to this point? And I know that you're still relatively young. You can see it on your face. So, but there's still some experience there, even though you are quite a young man. What it is that you can share along your journey that you know will help someone who's listening today?
Let me just give you first a background. I was born in the Dominican Republic, así que hablo español. I was raised mostly in the USA. That's why I speak better English than probably any other language. And I'm currently living in Curacao for 9 years. Mi por papiamento, that means I can speak Dutch papiamento in the local language, which is the ABC's local language. And ik spreek beetje Nederlands. That means I speak a little bit of Dutch. And that's also part of the languages that are spoken here on the islands, on the Dutch Caribbean islands. So everybody speaks around 4 languages, and I speak three, and I'm getting on the fourth one, which is the Dutch.
Tú eres more than bilingüe.
Yes, I'm like quadrilingue, 4 languages basically. I'm
Okay.
working on those.
Uh,
And I am an aviation tourism and business development professional who has worked with over 30 countries, these ranging from Canada, in the Americas, from Canada all the way down to Chile, Argentina, the Caribbean, Dutch, French, British, and Spanish speaking Caribbean. In addition to that, from Europe, doing business from Portugal, all the way down to China, to Hong Kong and everything. So I've had experience on a global scale, as the name says, of my business, GBIZ, or Global Business Solutions. And I'm here to actually contribute to the cause. I think this initiative that you have, Denise, is a really good one. So I want to be able to support as well. I'm somebody also that flies like 134 days a year. Apologize. So that also gives me a little bit broader insights on the travel business and the aviation and tourism in general.
and that's how I met you, through the travel business. That's how we got connected, because you were working for one of the larger airlines in South America. Tell us a little bit about that. About,
I was actually a commercial executive, a regional commercial executive for the second oldest airline in the world. So an airline that was founded in 1919, and it was founded also in Colombia. So through there, I was flying around the Caribbean and working with different countries, governments, tour operators to promote South America, Central America, and all that. And that's where I had the lovely pleasure of actually starting a new destination, which was Barbados. When I saw your numbers, your figures, I'm like, I need to sit with Denise. She's one of the heavy hitters over there in Barbados. So from there on, we started our relationship. And afterwards, I was dismissed from the airline due to financial situation that the airline was going. And due to all the contacts, all the support that I had, I was able to actually start my own business. I remember the day that we got the news that we were not going to be working any longer for the airline. I came home, stood outside. I didn't want to come inside the house. My wife actually went outside and we started praying outside. And from there on, we knew where we were heading to. So that's my experience on my experience and my profession, and how I switched to being a businessman, a commercial director for GBIZ Solutions, my own company.
but you know, that time at the airline would have helped you and position you to be able to go now and be an entrepreneur of GBIZ Solutions Global Business, because, like you said, you traveled so much within that time once you were there, and you also made some wonderful connections, because that's how we got connected. And then you came across as such a personable individual, an individual honesty and integrity, and that's what really endeared you to me and me to you, because we have that, you know. And so I was wondering, you know, when you stood outside and you felt as though the bottom had fallen out of your world, you still use that to propel you. Because many, and those who are listening, sometimes we go through difficult times and we do not know why it has happened. And we're trying to say, why did this happen to me? Why did this take place? But I was one of the best. I was this, I was that. But sometimes it is our Father, our God, saying, you know what? You need to learn how to fly and fly higher. So I am going to push you up this nest so that you can soar. Did you think that that was where he was leading you?
Yes, because to be honest with you, I had the second highest position in the Caribbean, so I felt very kind of comfortable. I was getting to know more people and all that. And I knew one day I was gonna be my business, have my own business again. That's how I looked at it. But I had never had any business in aviation. Currently, I'm commercial director for an airline under my business. I also have been business development for the biggest airline in the Caribbean, thanks to my business. I have met with CEOs, owners of businesses in Slovakia. I've been treated VIP in China. I've been treated like all this. And again, I probably did see myself in the future doing that, but the moment was now. Imagine now, after the COVID-19 period, me trying to venture out into this. All the traveling that I did would have been completely different with the new normal, as they say.
Yes.
So, yeah, I did feel that it was a push forward from God telling me, hey, you're ready, go ahead. You thought you were gonna be ready later, you're ready now. And I've been to Galapagos as well. I did so many things within the first 12 months of starting a business. I think within the first 3, 4 months, I already have visited 14 countries, just promoting my business before anybody even knew that what my business was on a local level. So yeah, there was a colleague of mine, an ex-colleague of mine, that he went into a closet and basically broke down, because he didn't know what to do. And in my case, again, it was like half of the company here locally was dismissed due to the financial issues.
Mhm.
And I actually, yes, when I got home, that's when it hit me. But again, I have a wife that she's a believer, so we prayed together and we had then that strength. The first thing I did, I sat down with a friend of mine who's millionaire, billionaire, and I asked him, I'm like, look, tell me the truth. I told him, were you born with this mansion in one of the best neighborhoods in Curacao and all this? So he's a man of age, so he could give me very good advice.
Mhm.
And also one of my mentors, you could say. And he started laughing. He's like, no, no, my mom and my dad didn't give me this. He told me I got dismissed from a job. My wife is school teacher, was a school teacher. We were living off her salary until my business started to grow, to produce. And now the guy, he's a living example of success. When he told me how much money he received when he was dismissed, it was basically the same amount of money that I was receiving now. Obviously, he was getting it decades ago, but just by me hearing the same amount of money that he received a few years ago, that's the same amount of money that I was entitled to. Like if you could do it, I could do it. So that was also another sign, and I'm always thankful for the people that God puts in my path. And as you mentioned, you just need to have integrity in everything you do. So like that, you could have these friends for lifetime, not friends for a few months.
Exactly. Because people do business with people that they like. If they do not like you, they're not going to do business with you. So you still have to work on yourself. You still have to be personable. You still have to have that integrity and operate with love and respect for everyone. So that ultimately, when you open that business, which you have done, because GBIZ Solutions will do amazing things because of the contacts that you've made and the fact that you operate with a level of excellence. Because people are tired of mediocrity. People are tired of you saying to them one thing and your words and figures are differing. They're not aligning. So they want to deal with people who are personable, who actually care. Because you do care. I've seen you in operation. I've seen how when a farm trip, there was some difficulty and you had to get the agents back. You worked tirelessly. You found out ways to get them back when there was a pilot strike. It was a strike on with the pilots or something like that. What?
Yeah, we saw the pilot strike was one of the things that actually caused me my job, you could say, back then. It caused a financial situation. So yeah, there was a pilot strike, cancellation of flights over Venezuela. We got to see too much stuff in this industry. And obviously, we also had some days that the weather was not good and some people couldn't connect their flight. People who's during the fam trip, for example, a young girl, her grandma passed away, and she needed to get back, and all the airports were closed due to the weather conditions. So all these type of stuff. I had somebody basically almost going to die in Machu Picchu, a lady in a travel agent. And I remember I called up a friend and I told him, please do not let her die. A friend that could actually make a decision about her health care, let's say it like that. And she, till this day, every time I see her, I dance with her. Every event I have to celebrate her life, you understand? But you gotta work hard and you gotta be you with or without, 8 to 5, that doesn't mean anything. You have to be you 24/7.
That's right. Elvis, can you share any advice to some people coming up now that want to get in business? Any nuggets, anything that you would have learned that you want to pass on, so that those who are listening can benefit from that?
I think one of the key things, you have to believe in your skills, yourself. Whatever you think you're lacking, work on it first. Like, or not first. Even there's certain things you're gonna learn throughout the road of being an entrepreneur. But I would say to work on having quality service, quality products, quality everything, and having integrity in everything you do, because that creates your brand. An example is when I first went to China, I was being provided with some really cheap and expensive products that I could sell easily. And I told the factory, no, I do not want those products. They were like, what? And I told them, yes, I want something that's of quality, that's, even if it costs more, I'm willing to pay more in order to have more quality. They were like, wait, but you're Dominican. Usually in the Dominican Republic, this is how the Chinese respond to me. But usually in the Dominican Republic, they just want things to sell quick. It doesn't matter if it lasts long or not. I told them, nah, I want to create quality. I want to work on long-lasting relations, and I want to work in a long-lasting business. So that's one of the things that we recommend. Work step by step, but focus always in the future, where you're heading to. So that was one of the things. And with this factory, I tested their product for a year, and now I'm promoting it. So I was not doing anything until I tested the products and the high quality products. So that would be something that I would recommend. And I would also recommend everybody to know that the world is constantly changing, and the priorities of its people as well. So do not get stuck on one idea. Be willing to adapt, to change. An example is that this COVID has affected aviation tourism like nothing else has in its history. So we have to learn how to pinpoint what's growing and invest money there as well. So actually, if you could do two things at once, do them, but make sure those two things are probably the contrary to each other. Because when something is falling down, you're still living off and producing from another. And basically, that's also something that I would recommend a lot. The example is the tourism versus healthcare slash medical supplies. One of them has fallen, one of them has grown. So it's good to actually diversify your product, have quality, and work on your long-term goals on a short step method, you know?
Yes. So diversification and ensuring that you put your best foot forward, operating with excellence, and not falling into what if because that was a stereotype. You didn't fall into that stereotype. You stood out. You differentiated yourself from how they viewed your people. I say, well, I am an individual, and that's not how I operate. As an individual, I operate with integrity. As an individual, I want quality products so I can sell to my people because I want them to be repeat customers. Because you can do a quick fix and sell cheap stuff, but people will eventually realize that it's cheap and would say to you, well, why were you selling me something that you knew wasn't good? So I think that that's really key to operate with integrity, differentiate yourself, the ability to adapt and know that when, like you said, in one area, one side of the business may be doing well and another may not. And so as we say, we do not put all of our eggs in one basket. So the differentiation is important and diversification is important. So you've actually proven that through by your story telling us about what happened in China. And you know, Elvis, as we continue this conversation, I know there are some things that you have gone through. There's some things that you probably wish that you hadn't gone through. But having been there, having done that, you know that you found out what that it factor is, what it is that makes Elvis Elvis, what caused Elvis to be differentiated from the pack. And you're in the midst of people, and people will come to you. I can start by telling you what differentiate you, if I can help you here a little bit. Because when I first met you, I thought that you were absolutely amazing. You're so lovable. You're so compassionate and caring and kind, and you operate with integrity. You left no stone unturned. You were there when I met you. We were talking about our business ideas and so on. You actually guided me correctly. You said, Denise, da 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 da, do this, do that, da da da, and you always operate with care. And that's what you never miss the human element. And so I just love that about you, the fact that you are so affable and so compassionate and caring and operate with integrity. So that is the it factor. Because like I said earlier, people want to do business with people that they love and people that they feel comfortable with. And boy, do I feel comfortable with you. And so you can tell me what you think the it factor is that differentiate you from the others. But I've just told you what I think the it factor is. And I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth, but that's exactly how I feel.
No, I do agree with it. And I think listening to you, and thank you, Denise, for those words, I feel the same way about you and your team and your business, is that knowing that your name is a brand. So Denise Nichols is a brand. if Denise does something bad, it doesn't matter if Denise is selling chocolate. People are not gonna want to buy it because Denise is a brand. So everything that I've tried to do, I always notice before in the past, I worked for other companies, and to this day, I'm a commercial director for one airline, business development for another, and they're my customers and I represent them. So I put on their cap whenever I'm doing anything for them to promote their business. And even when I'm not working, I still promote them. But I do know that I'm not gonna lie for a company, I'm not gonna trick for a company, and that's one of the things that me as GBIZ Solutions, Elvis GBIZ Solutions promote. We do not say a lie for a customer. Back when I was an employee, I didn't say a lie for a boss. And I remember these bosses, they sometimes just get mad. Oh, who you think you are? I'm like, nah, man, if my contract says that I have to lie, then I quit. If my contract says that I have to be looking at what my other colleagues are doing, I quit. Like, yeah, if my contract doesn't say that, so you cannot force me to do something that's against my personal values, you know? And also what has actually helped a lot is faith. You know, the faith, you know, that even though something is looking very bad, terrible, you gotta get up, you know, you gotta keep on going. So a lot of people, they break down and they forget. Again, I'm mentioning an example of an ex-colleague of mine. When we were dismissed, we had a big event with the Colombian government and everything 2 days after. And we knew somebody was going to get dismissed. We just didn't know who. And I didn't expect for me to get dismissed at all. I trust that. And I was telling him, no, we have to finalize the stuff for the event. We have to have a backup in case one of us is not around, or in case neither of us is around. So whoever our colleague is, they can still execute the event. And he's like, how could you think of work right now when we might just be getting fired? I'm like, nah, because what I want to do it right. So you just have to do what's right, even though when nobody's watching you. And that's really what integrity, that's part of your value. So you don't sell your, not for any million, trillion, whatever, it doesn't matter. Your values are your values. And that's gonna give you good contacts, good friends, and good business allies along the way. And it's gonna separate you from bad friends, bad allies along the way as well. So I think I would say that. And thank you, Denise, again, because everything I do it from the bottom of my heart. I'm a human. I don't look at a janitor different than I look at a CEO. You know, everybody's important. Everybody's perfect. You
Yes.
know, everybody's a creation.
Yes, and that is a level of compassion that you exhibit and caring for people that really differentiate you and make you stand out. That ability to care and that ability to continue to work, even though you know that, okay, somebody's going to be fired, you still execute your tasks with excellence and you still make certain that you have a backup plan. I remember you being, as people would say in English, being pedantic, overly concerned about rules and regulations because you left no stone unturned. You are always looking out for to operate with excellence. So anybody who uses GBIZ Solutions is a wise person because they connected with somebody who not only operate with integrity, but he leaves no stone unturned and he operate with such excellence that you can give him the task to do and you don't have to go back and say, well, did Elvis do that? Even case in point. You know, today I would ask you, they send you the link and I said, Elvis, can I get your email address so I can send you the link for the Zoom? He said, Denise, I already sent it. And then I said, oh boy, I should have known. I know Elvis is very clear and very meticulous, so I should have known. But you do it with such finesse. You know, some people are overly concerned with rules and regulations, but they just like feel like such stick in the mud. You have such finesse. And I'm so happy to be associated with GBIZ Solutions and Elvis Reynoso, the brand, because it is you that make the brand and your faith and trusting that regardless of what is happening that you can do it, you know, that makes a difference. Do you have any closing thoughts, anything you want to share? Because I know you shared a lot already and we pick your brain and I see it rolling over and I can see the cows going but you were still able to share with us and give us some insight. And I'm really happy to be with you. You can tell because I'm grinning from ear to ear. So this is an interview that I'm enjoying. But any closing thoughts, anything you want to share or add?
Now, I would say that it's important for us to notice that the world is small. Do not really limit yourself to your country of residence. So you don't only diversify your products, but also you could diversify your target markets. And as GBIZ, for example, that's something that we really do. I really applaud again, I mentioned this initiative that you have, Denise, because this is diversifying what you do. You're highly or internationally respected in your travel business, and you're doing something to give back. So part of networking and best business practices that are being shared here in the show is actually providing, um, let's say, you're giving back to the world and business society as well during these challenging times. So my closing thoughts are that, diversify what you do everything in excellence, and do not limit yourself, because our limit, we are the only ones that can put our limits, but nobody else can put our limits. Nobody else could tell you, no, you cannot go to China. No, you cannot do this. You cannot do that. No, that's a lie. You limit yourself. So um, do not limit yourself. Go forward. And if you don't feel comfortable yet, prepare yourself for it, because it's coming one day, So just go forward.
You just said something that key, preparing yourself, because preparation is key. You have to be prepared and not be caught off guard or caught by surprise. And I'm so glad that we were here this morning having this day, having this chat. And so, Elvis, I just want to say thanks from Business in View. And yes, we are here to give back. Who knows whether we'll be chatting again some more, because there's always new exciting things that are happening in your life. And you're always having something to share with the audience and to share with people to help them through their journey. So I want to thank you for your insights. I want to thank you for your comments. I want to thank you for being open and sharing. And so I want to say to you and to GBIZ Solutions, God bless you. And I declare great prosperity over your business that you never imagined possible. And that people will hear about you from the north and the south and the east and the west, like, just like the Queen of Sheba. And she came to Solomon and she said, the half has not been told. And the half has not been told with Elvis Reynoso. God bless you and GBIZ Solutions. Thank you so
God
much.
bless you, your show, and your team. Thank you for everything always. Thank you for this opportunity, Denise. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bless you.
Chaito. Adios.
Adios. Hasta luego, baby. Adios.